Ladies and gentlemen, you will not believe what their latest excuse is. As most of you all know, I've already made a few videos talking about the secret tunnels that were discovered underneath a synagogue in NYC. Well, their latest explanation as to how and why these tunnels got there is almost as unbelievable as the last 7 explanations. Folks, we are on excuse 7 or 8. I would list them all here, but it would take too much time. But the latest excuse, the latest explanation is, can I get a drum roll, please? The latest explanation is, the latest excuse is Mexicans. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they are now blaming Mexicans. Their words, not mine. Now, if you haven't been keeping track, first they said the tunnels were built because of the lockdowns a few years ago and they were restricted from going to church. And then they changed the story like 5 or 6 times. They started blaming it on unruly teenagers. And that was like their 6th or their 7th excuse. But they blamed it on unruly teenagers. Oh, these crazy teens, we can't control them. They just like digging secret tunnels underneath our places of worship for some reason. Weird, creepy, secret tunnels with dirty mattresses and baby chairs. Yeah. So people started questioning. Wait. How in the hell did teens build these tunnels? Because the tunnels were built right. It looks like the tunnels were built by someone with some type of knowledge. They have the proper support beams, all types of stuff, right? So people are questioning, how could teens come in here and build this tunnel? And also, how were they able to do this without y'all knowing? So y'all are just chilling in the synagogue and you don't know that your kids are underneath the synagogue building secret tunnels? None of it made sense. But listen to what they tried to say. They tried to say, well, the teens, they were hiding all the dirt in their pockets. They literally wanted us to believe that the teens were down there digging this tunnel with their bare hands and hiding the dirt in their pockets. And that's how no one knew. No one knew because obviously all of the dirt from the holes that were being dug were stuffed into the teenagers' pockets. They really wanted us to believe that. They really think that we're stupid. It's almost as if they think that we are like not even human. It's almost as if they think that like we are just dumb and we're not even really human, like we're subhuman or something. You know? Because how in the hell do you think that excuse was going to work? Oh, teenagers, they were hiding the dirt in their pockets. These are intricate tunnels. There's too much dirt to hide in your pockets. We got videos and photos of entire rooms filled with freshly dug dirt. So after people called that out, after people obviously didn't believe that lame excuse, they changed the story again, and now they're saying, oh, the unruly teens, they didn't dig the tunnels themselves. They hired Mexicans to do it. Now, how crazy is that? So now, not only do you want us to believe that teenagers are underneath your feet digging secret tunnels in your synagogue and you don't know about it, but also there's a whole team of Mexicans down there, a whole freaking crew down here digging tunnels. But it gets crazier, ladies and gentlemen. They say that this was a secret operation that they had no idea about. And that the Mexicans were living in these buildings the entire time and they didn't know. So not only are they blaming Mexicans for digging the holes, their words, not mine. They're blaming Mexicans for digging the tunnels now. And they're claiming that Mexicans were secretly living in their buildings the entire time for months without them knowing. That they never left. They ate, slept, lived there 24/7 building these tunnels. How freaking wild and crazy is that? How far-fetched is that? I thought it was bad when they tried to throw their teenagers under the bus, because none of the grown men in the situation, none of them want to take the blame. None of them want to take accountability. So they tried to blame it on a bunch of kids, but we've seen the videos. We've seen grown men with big beards and big hats popping out of holes in the ground, getting snatched out of holes in the wall by the police. But now they're trying to blame Mexicans, saying that the Mexicans were secretly living there, digging tunnels this whole time, and they were hired by radical teenagers. So freaking absolutely unbelievable that it feels like a slap in the face when they're telling us these excuses. And listen, I'm a reasonable person. When they gave the first excuse, I was like, okay, I'm still sketched out. I don't necessarily believe you, but all right, we'll look into it. But they've changed the story. They've changed the excuse 8 or 9 times now. And that tells you they're not being truthful. I don't know what other way to say it. But if you sit here and you change your story over a half a dozen times, how can I trust anything you're saying? And if you think for 1 second that there's secret, intricate tunnel systems being built underneath the synagogue by unruly teenagers, then you're a idiot. There's more to this story. And I'm not here spreading crazy stuff about what's happening down there like some people. I don't know what's happening in those tunnels. But I'm damn sure not going to believe that an unruly group of teenagers was hiding underneath the synagogue, hired a group of Mexicans that then lived within the buildings, digging tunnels, and no one knew about it. I want to dive into this article, though, that gives us a little bit more information about what they're trying to say. Extremist Jewish teens secretly hired migrants to dig covert Brooklyn synagogue tunnel Shawshank style. Extremist students from an ultra-Orthodox group secretly hired migrant laborers to help them build a tunnel at the sect's world headquarters in Crown Heights, all to fulfill what they felt was a religious obligation to expand the holy site. 6 renegade members of the Chabad Lubavitch movement secretly began digging the 3-foot-high, 20-foot-wide, 50-foot-long tunnel themselves, using crude instruments in their hands. They stuffed the dirt in their pockets so that their work wouldn't be detected by the sect's leaders and wider community. You've seen the movie, The Shawshank Redemption. That's what these young men did at first. They dug and put the dirt in their pockets. Later, the men, most of them in their teens, took up a collection and they hired a group of migrant laborers to finish the job. Kamowitz said, describing the workers as Mexicans. The workers lived in a building that contained a men's ritual bath near Chabad World Headquarters, known in the community simply as 770, for the entire duration of the work. The Mexicans lived in the building for 3 weeks during the work, said Kamowitz, adding that the migrants did the work correctly and installed support beams. They slept and ate there because it was a secret operation. Another Chabad member said he was shocked by how they managed to hide it. I was surprised by the stealth and secrecy of it all, said a 38-year-old Chabad member who does not want to be identified. It's incredible to me that they kept it under wraps. The yeshiva boys are very idealistic and extreme. Now, remember how I told you all that they were going to spin this ball of confusion so everyone's confused as to what actually happened here? No one's going to have their story straight when it comes to this story. I can tell you right now, as someone covering this story, It's really hard to do so because it's hard keeping up with what explanation and excuse that they're using today. I mean, I've seen them change the change excuses 3 times in one day already. So by the time I sit down and record a video and I put a video out, their explanation has already changed. And it makes me look like I'm spreading misinformation, but I'm not. I'm spreading information that's coming directly from them, the excuses and the explanations that have come directly from them. But they're changing their stories up so much that you may watch one person make a video about this, you may read this article about this, and you may see this on the news, but all of it is a different story. Because everyone is at a different portion of, I guess, their coverage of this story. And, you could have a video put out 1 minute and a news article put out 30 minutes that tells conflicting stories because their story is constantly changing. So if you've been confused by this story, that's why. If you see this explanation on one channel and this explanation in one news article and then that explanation, it's not because that creator got it wrong or that journalist got it wrong. It's because they have changed their story so much. But when you question it, they act as if you're a bad person, that, oh, you must hate our people. You must hate our people if you think it's weird that we're popping out of sewer tunnels in the ground. You must hate our people if you think that it's odd that we changed our story 1,000 times. And we're all the way at the point where they want us to believe that teenagers dug this tunnel and hid dirt in their pockets. Everyone's walking around. Their pockets are like 70 pounds. Your pants are falling off your behind. You got dirt marks all over your pants, and no one's like, oh, what's all the dirt doing in your pants, right? So they want us to believe that teenagers did this with their bare hands, hiding dirt in their pockets, and then collected a bunch of money and hired Mexicans that lived there for 3 weeks. 3 weeks straight, Mexicans are living in this building a literal tunnel underneath the ground, as teenagers are coming above ground from sewer drains, pockets filled with dirt, and no one knows what's going on. Looking at some of the photos of the tunnel, I wonder how long they've been there. And at first, when I saw this story, I thought it was wild and crazy. And I thought, yeah, there could be a lot here. There could be some weird, dark, twisted stuff going on in those tunnels. I think a lot of us thought that. But if they had given one explanation and they stuck to their story, I wouldn't be sitting here so adamantly questioning what really transpired in those tunnels. The reason why I'm even still sitting here making videos about this topic today is because their story has changed again. This is a story that could have been left in the past a few days ago. I think most people would have moved on from it. But it's like they're so desperate to cover this up. They're so desperate to throw out all of these different narratives that they're drawing people back in. And they're making people question this thing even more. But now, the NYPD, they've rushed in, along with NYC, they've rushed in, and they're filling up these tunnels. And they want you to think that, oh, it's because, we have to shut these tunnels down, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, that may be true. Yeah, you need to shut the tunnels down. Maybe you need to fill them up to make sure there's no damage to these buildings. We don't want any buildings collapsing. But at the same time, it looks like a cover-up to me. It looks like before anyone could really ask any questions or do a thorough investigation, they ran in here and covered up the tunnels. And in my opinion, I don't think that's them working against the tunnel diggers. I don't think that's them working against this group of people. I think that's them working for this group of people. Maybe even helping them out. Maybe doing them a favor by filling this up before anyone can investigate or ask any questions. But as of right now, who knows what was going on in those tunnels? All I know is I don't believe the 8th explanation. I'm sorry, folks, but I don't believe the 8th excuse. The first excuse, I kind of bought it. The second excuse didn't make any sense, but I'm like, oh, all right. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Now we're all the way to the point that teenagers are filling their pockets with dirt and Mexicans are living in your crawl spaces and you don't know. I'm over it. I'm over these wild-ass, stupid, idiotic explanations. They're obviously hiding something. What it is may not be as bad as we think it is, or it may be even worse. Who knows? Let me know your thoughts, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to the channel via Super Thanks, or you can donate directly via Cash App. I'll have my Cash App in the pinned comment. You could also help this channel in many other ways by liking the video, subscribing, ringing the notification bell, all of that good stuff. But with that being said, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.